friends, welcome to Technique. This is Normal here, and in this video we're gonna do a comparison of two smartphones in the budget segment, the Realme 3i with the Redmi 7. So these two phones are priced 7,999 for the base variant. We have 3GB RAM and 32GB storage offered, while we have 2GB RAM and 32GB storage offered on the Redmi 7. So there are lots of similarities, and in this video we'll compare all the aspects. So let's get started with a detailed comparison of the Realme 3i with the Redmi 7. So first up, let's have a look at the design and build quality. Now looking at the design aspect, you can see that the front panel design looks quite similar. We have the water drop notch on the Realme 3i, while we have the dot notch on the Redmi 7. Both looks quite good. We have a slightly bigger display size on the Redmi 7. It's 6.26 inches, while it's 6.2 on the Realme 3i. So this front panel design looks quite similar with the notch display. And looking at the back panel, this is where things change. We have a plastic material on both devices, but there is a quite difference between these two devices. We have diamond cut finishing on the Realme 3i, which actually feels quite good. It is a matte kind of finish, while we have a glossy finish on the Redmi 7, mimicking the glass finishing. So that's the major difference between these two devices in terms of the design and build quality aspect. Now build quality looks quite good, but we feel the Realme 3i with the matte finish looks a bit more sturdier than the Redmi 7, but the Redmi 7 also looks great with a gradient pattern, and it's a stylish device actually. In fact, both of them are really stylish devices, so we would leave it to viewers to decide which actually looks really better. Both devices look really good in terms of the design and build quality. Next, moving on to the display. So both the phones have a HD plus resolution display, 19:9 aspect ratio, and even the screen to body ratio looks quite similar, 81%. Now we have a slightly smaller display on the Realme 3i with 6.2 inches screen size, while it's a 6.26 inches screen size on the Redmi 7. Now talking about the display quality, both are equally good displays, great viewing angles, sharpness levels, and for the HD plus panel, both looks really good, and both are protected by Corning Gorilla Glass. So no major difference in terms of display performance of these two devices. Next, let's talk about the software. So this is one of the most important aspects, because we have two different UIs here. So we have a custom ColorOS on top of Android 9.0 on the Realme 3i, while we have the MIUI 10 on the Redmi 7, again on top of Android 9.0. Now ColorOS has come a long way with a new UI. It feels actually really good. It's a refreshing change from the older UI, and it also features a plethora of modes and options like clone apps, dual app split screen, support for themes, and a lot of services are also included in the ColorOS. Now talking about the MIUI, so MIUI is one of those UI which is offering a plethora of options, including second space, dual app support, app lock via fingerprint scanner, and a whole lot of features. But the major problem with the MIUI is that it also has ads. So if ads are a thing which actually not really good for you, then you should be going with the ColorOS, since ColorOS does not feature any ads, but MIUI definitely has ads in almost all UI. So that's one major downside for the Redmi 7. Otherwise, both the devices have pretty good software. So again, we would say it's a personal choice on which looks better. The MIUI 10 feels a bit more polished actually when compared to the ColorOS, but then the availability of ads in the UI is something which is not really great. Now talking about the performance, so we have the Helio P60 octa-core processor on the Realme 3i, while we have the Snapdragon 632 octa-core processor on the Redmi 7. Now the base variant, if you look, we have 3GB RAM on the base variant on the Realme 3i, while the base variant on the Redmi 7 has just 2GB RAM. Now the gaming performance processor wise is quite similar. We have the Snapdragon 632 and the Helio P60 offering quite similar performance in terms of the gaming, but availability of extra gigabyte RAM for the Realme 3 definitely makes a difference in terms of the gaming. We have a 3GB RAM variant for the Redmi 7, which is priced 8,999, while we have 4GB RAM variant for the Realme 3i, which is priced 9,999. So in terms of the performance, the additional RAM definitely gives an edge in the 8K price segment for the Realme 3i. But having said that, the day-to-day performance is pretty smooth on both the phones, no major issues. Both are responsive and does the job pretty well in terms of the performance. Now gaming experience, again as I said before, additional RAM definitely gets an edge for the Realme 3i. Now moving on to the cameras. So both the devices have a dual camera setup. So we have a 13 and 2 megapixel camera combination on the Realme 3i, which is f-stop 1.8 aperture, while we have a 12 and 2 megapixel camera combination with f-stop 2.2 on the Redmi 7. On the front panel we have a 13 megapixel camera on the Realme 3i, while we have an 8 megapixel selfie camera on the Redmi 7. Now looking at the camera samples, you can see that the sky colors looks a bit oversaturated on the Realme 3i when compared to the Redmi 7. So the Redmi 7 definitely has more natural colors, while the Realme 3 definitely has more boosted colors. But having said that, the dynamic range seems to be slightly better on the Realme 3i compared to the Redmi 7. So here we would also say that the Realme 3i images are a bit over sharpened as well. On the other hand, the Redmi 7 images looks a bit too soft. And looking at the low light captures, you can see that quite similar performance here, but the Redmi 7 definitely has a small edge here, not by a huge margin. Now when it comes to selfie camera, we feel the Realme 3i does a better job here, even though the edge direction in the portrait mode selfies looks better on the Redmi 7. So overall we would say the Redmi 7 definitely has a small advantage when it comes to the camera. Talking about the other aspect, the face unlock and fingerprint scanners are really good on both the phones, but definitely the Realme 3i definitely has an edge over the Redmi 7 in terms of the fastness in unlocking the device. Now finally, the battery life. So we have a 4230 mAh capacity battery on the Realme 3i, while we have 4000 mAh capacity battery on the Redmi 7. So there is a slight increase in capacity when compared to the Redmi 7, but not by a huge margin. The battery performance is again quite similar. You can get almost like 1.5 days of battery life easily. So there is no clear winner here. We would say both are equally good. Maybe the Realme 3i has a slight advantage over the Redmi 7, but not by a huge margin in terms of the battery performance. So that is a detailed comparison of these two devices. So which is the better device to buy? So if you look at the pricing, 7999 you get 3GB RAM and 32GB storage, pretty good set of cameras, good color OS without the ads, good overall performance, gaming is also quite okay. So at 7999 pricing you get 3GB RAM and 32GB storage, while on the other hand the Redmi 7 is offered at 2GB RAM and 32GB storage at 7999 pricing. So there is definitely an advantage for the Realme 3i when you look at that pricing. The Realme 3i is also offered in 4GB RAM variant, which also gets you 64GB internal storage. So that's again an advantage for the Realme 3i. So overall, if you look at the features, Realme 3i definitely has an advantage over the Redmi 7. So that was a detailed comparison of the Realme 3i with the Redmi 7. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button. Also hit the red subscribe button for more videos. This is Nirmal signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.